I didn't really understand the risks in business and how business assets affect your personal life. I was kind of sheltered from some of that stuff, frankly. I didn't really, get too involved with it all. And then, lots of things happen, things that sort of happened that's just you can't control with the economy, with the mortgage business in general. And there were a lot of things that happened, and we ended up having to sort of sell the business for pennies on the dollar. My dad had his real estate stuff he was doing, so he continued to do that, and I was sort of out of a job. It's the business has a certain value that you expect to extract down the road. My dad certainly did. He didn't have all his money and all his eggs in one basket, but the majority of his net worth was kind of in this mortgage company, which sort of just evaporated. I'm going to sell it someday or transition it to children or whatever, but they don't really plan that far in advance. And I've just seen over the days, the business owner clients I've had, we didn't get that far down the road in terms of managing the process. And so over the course of time, I realized it's probably a better way for me to sort of embellish the planning that I do and reinforce the fact that you really need to almost start at the beginning when you first start your business, planning on the end and not waiting until the last couple, 3 years. And all of a sudden you're scrambling around trying to figure out what it's worth. And, what am I going to do? And, is this going to meet my goals for retirement? You can't avoid things like that happened to my father, where the economy changes on you, but you can mitigate that risk. And so, over time, I sort of developed in house my own process of trying to uncover this in the conversations. It wasn't just about their money and, holding hands on the beach and retirement, all that stuff. It was really, what are you doing with your business? How are you running the business? Are there things that you could do to make it more valuable? How's your team fit into this process? I'm still consulting with business owners, helping them with the personal planning, but it's more exit planning focused because there's just a tremendous amount of baby boomer type
Yeah.
age clients, which is what I am, who really haven't done the planning. And all of a sudden it's like, what are you doing? And so I'm trying to get ahead of it and trying to get the word out that you really should plan ahead further and it should be more integrated with your personal. Don't let the business control the personal. Find out what you want to do personally, what you need. Let's see how the business can deliver those resources.
And it personally impacted you. And then I'm glad that you were taking it and you're like, you know what? I want to help other people not run into the same mistake. What is probably one of the earliest memories that you can think of that you were like, you know what? I need to make sure that we don't repeat this one critical mistake. What was that first painful lesson?